What's up, people? It's the Dungeon Coach, creator DC20, and I'm going to talk to you guys about what the heck a Paragon subclass is in DC20. First, I'm going to talk about how we even came to this solution for subclasses, why some subclasses are a problem, why in the process of making them do we run into this idea and solution and cool idea for subclasses. Now, when creating DC20 in this process, and we're about to release the next version, DC20 0.9, maybe around the time where I'm releasing this video even, but what a Paragon subclass is, and the problem we ran into is when making subclasses, it is taking the class and the fantasy you have for this class and taking it in a wildly new and cool direction. Let's go down this road, let's go down that road, and we can really see and explore those things. So if you have something, the best example right now, and the first one alphabetically, Barbarian. Whenever you have a Barbarian, an elemental fury Barbarian where wild fires swirling around you, lightning's crackling off of you, that's very evocative, and that's a really cool subclass for a Barbarian to go down, right? And then you have something like a Spirit Guardian Barbarian or a Wild Magic Barbarian or all these really cool ideas that you can do. And when me and my team were making up all these ideas and brainstorming and all this kind of stuff, we can do so many cool things. But then we realized that, wait a second, what if you just want to play a Barbarian? And if we take a big pulse check right now, if we froze time and checked on every single Barbarian in existence right now, people playing D&D, playing DC20, playing whatever games you're playing, how many Barbarians would be elemental or wild magic or spirit guardians or whatever, right? There should be, and probably a majority of Barbarians would be down the middle, the class fantasy of a Barbarian. I'm big and strong, I hit stuff, I get mad, whatever you want to do, however you flavored it. That is a Paragon subclass, is what we're calling it for DC20. So the solution of why this is so great is in DC20, there are subclasses. Absolutely. At level 3, you get every single class at level 3 gets to pick their subclass, which is another, I think, cool thing about DC20. And at level 3, you can pick a subclass. Absolutely. In the core rules, there's going to be 3 subclasses for every single class. It's going to be a whole section of choices. But there's a Paragon option, which technically, if you want to think about it, is a 4th subclass option. But how this works is at level 3, you can choose to take a Paragon subclass instead of, you can forego the regular subclasses and you can become a Paragon of your class, which also sounds cool. But it is my class fantasy is right in line with a Barbarian already. I don't need to go take some magic or some elemental or some undead or whatever type of situation. I want to be that type of class. Cool, let's do it. Now, what that means is you get a talent at 3rd level. You get a really cool talent that is based on your class. It has a level 3 requirement, so this is not some talent that you could pick up earlier or whatever. It's guarded off in that way to where you have to be level 3 in order to take this, but it basically lets you take a class talent. So class talents in DC20 are talents that only that class can take. So you get to stay on brand for your class. And when you take your subclass, instead of being forced to go off in these wild directions, you can take a class talent, that's what the Paragon lets you do, is take a class talent and be able to spend it within your own class, and you become a Paragon of that class. Here's a cool example. So if we come over here, this is the current development of where DC20 is at right now. Super cool. Green means we're done. So it's right next to we're so close to it. So we have Elemental Fury, we have Spirit Guardian, super cool things. But then we have Paragon. So if you look at Paragon here, every Paragon is going to have 2 options at 0.9, more to come in the future. But when you choose, all right, you know what? I'm going to do a Paragon Barbarian. You're going to have 2 options when 0.9 releases. But here's a great example. Unfathomable Strength. Requires rage, which if you're a Barbarian, you obviously should have, and we'll talk about why that's here also in a second. Titan's Grip. While raging, you can wield 2-handed weapons using only 1 hand. That's freaking sick. And that's such a Paragon Barbarian thing to do, right? And leg day, your jump distance increases by 1. You can jump 1 space farther. So that's a little bit of flavor there, but you get the idea. Titan's Grip. You can dual wield 2-handers, or like the player playing in my campaign right now has also realized, he usually has only 1 2-hander still, but you have a free hand for grappling. So he grapples somebody with 1 hand and has a 2-hander in the other hand. Very versatile. You can have a shield and a 2-hander. You can have 2 2-handers. You get the idea. Really, really cool stuff here. So that is a Paragon Barbarian. And that lets us be able to go more wild. So from a design standpoint in DC20, we are now empowered to be able to go in these wild directions and really cool, exciting directions with subclasses because Paragon is taken care of. So a couple of things of how this works. Whenever you choose Paragon, you get a class talent or a multi-class talent within your own class. What that means is you can spend it on something like this Paragon, this Titan's Grip situation I just talked about, or you can spend it on another one of your own features and get it again. A good example is monks. Right now, monks get 2 fighting styles and you gain your stances and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to spend a multi-classing talent on that talent again, you can take that talent again and you get 2 more stances. So now, wait a second. If you wanted to play a monk with more stances as a Paragon monk, you wanted to become even more monk-like, then yes, you can absolutely do that. Choose Paragon, and with that talent point, you would spend it on more stances. And now that's your subclass. Your subclass stays in the pocket of what you wanted. And maybe you want to play a karate Bruce Lee, changing stances all the time, and now you're more versatile and that's the way you want to play. You can be a Paragon monk. Oh my gosh. Or you can take some wild and crazy directions with all the different subclass options you have for monk. So it just does so many cool things. And I get this question a lot too whenever I talk about these in live streams. But whenever these Paragon talents, these really cool, like dual wielding 2-handed weapons and some other things, what these Paragon talents, they are level 3. They have a level 3 requirement. So you're not going to be able to just pick them up and you just have, you can pick them up at level 2 and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you're not familiar with DC20, at level 2, 4, and 7, you get a talent that you can spend on whatever you want. So at level 2, you would not be able to pick up these. Paragon talents in any way. You would have to choose something else. You would have to spend those talents on something else. And actually, I'm going to show you. I've just realized that I showed you guys Barbarian. But maybe I might as well, I'll show you guys another one. But what you're going to be able to do is spend those points in the way that you want to be able to not be forced in the different directions. And you can do it at level 3. You could also take these later on at level 4. When you get that talent, you get them at 2, 4, and 7. At level 4, when you get a talent, you can spend that talent on one of these Paragon things. You absolutely could. So if you wanted to be a barbarian and you wanted to be the crazy elemental barbarian, you can. At level 3, choose that. And if you really want to get Titan's Grip, you really want to be able to wield dual 2-handed weapons and be 2 fiery axes and you're on fire and that's your vision, cool. You can do that at level 4. You could go pick up that level 3 Paragon talent of the dual wielding 2-handers and pick it up then. Absolutely. The things you cannot do is this does not, the two no's here, this does not advance your talent mastery. So in DC20, whenever you get talents, there's certain times where your talent window advances. That's also being fixed for the record. If anyone's up to date with that, we are changing how that works. But you taking this Paragon talent, you don't get more talent mastery levels. And as far as flavor features, the currently right now it does not get a flavor feature if you choose Paragon because the flavor is already in your class and it's not needed right now. But we do have plans to introduce the flavor feature for Paragons in the future. So to end on, I want to show this. This is the Paragon Bard, one of two. I hid while I was talking about this stuff. Helping Hands, a Paragon Bard. Requires Font of Inspiration, which is one of the things that bards have. Once per round, when you take the help action, you can grant a bonus D8 help dice to a different creature within range, including yourself. They can apply to the same type of check. So you basically double your help dice, you duplicate your help dice, and you're just even more helpful to your allies, yourself. Whoa, super cool. You're just helping hands. You're such a helpful bard. And maybe this also talks about something else, is what these class talents do is they let you be able to play your class in the way that you want. Maybe you want to play a cleric and heal more, or play a cleric and cleanse diseases and curses and all those types of things. Maybe you want to play a bard that's even more helpful. You can do that in these ways. So class talents in general are going to let you be able to play your class in the way you want. But Paragon Talents is going to let you be able to do that earlier at level 3, and then you have technically even more talents. So if you really love the flavor of a bard or the flavor of a cleric, and you just want to stay down that path, you don't want to go take all these wild divergent subclass options, you're absolutely taken care of. You can stay down the middle and you'll get even more talents to be able to spend on all the class only stuff. Super cool. I think it's going to be awesome for so many people. It is absolutely what has delayed 0.9 from being able to release. It would be released by now if it was not for Paragon, so you can love them and hate them for that reason, but that is absolutely what it is. And that is Paragon. That's what the whole thing's about. If this is interesting to you and this is the type of stuff that you really are excited about and want to play test early, patrons have seen this for a while now, especially Metallic Dragon patrons get early access to all this stuff. All patrons get access to behind the scenes of us creating these things. So a lot of times, every single patron can has access to these live streams we do every single Wednesday where we develop the game, and you can see some of this stuff a little early. So if this sounds cool, check out Patreon. Other than that, 0.9 will be dropping any week now. It's super close, as you can see from that little chart. Super excited. Stay creative, things at the box. Peace. Oh, and my live stream just reminded me is if you're another class and you want to dual wield barbarian two-handers, for instance, the requirement is level 3 and having rage. And if you have rage and level 3, you're good. So as far as multi-classing is concerned, if you're a champion or you're a whatever class you are and you want to go do that, you absolutely can. All you need to do is spend a multi-classing talent and pick up rage. And once you have that and you're level 3, you can take it. You don't have to be a barbarian. The requirements are the actual class feature that it keys off of and the level requirement of 3. And at higher levels, you're going to have plenty of talents to be able to build and have some really cool builds. So there you go.